Hey guys! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jacqueline and this is Makeup Tales. Each week on Tuesdays, I post Tuesday Tales where while I do my makeup, I also read a scary story. If you are interested in scary stories and love makeup, I suggest that you comment, like, and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. That way you know when I post a story each week. I have also started a new adventure where on Thursdays and Saturdays I post just scary, spooky narrations. So if you just love the scary stories, keep an eye out on Thursdays and Saturdays for those videos. Today, we are going to continue with Be Careful When Adopting by Reddit user DarkMindAngelEyes. Disclaimer: the following story is intended for a mature audience and may contain graphic depictions, death, gore, sexual themes, and adult language. Viewer digression is advised. The next morning, after getting ready, I gave both my guys hugs and kisses as I left for the house. I needed to get to the mental hospital as soon as possible. I had to try to find out everything Miss Sutton knows about these things. There has to be a way to kill them. Send them back to hell or something. I got into my car, closing the door as I cranked the car. Buckling my seatbelt as I could see the guys standing at the front door. John and Stephen waved to me from the doorway as I backed out of our driveway. Their smiling faces always made everything so much better. I began my hour-long drive to the mental hospital, playing random songs on the radio. I was determined not to be afraid of the demon voice or what they were capable of. I wasn't going to show fear, as it seemed they could see me from anywhere I was. I had to do my best to keep my mind on finding a way to defeat them. I danced and sang in my car like I didn't have a worry in the world. Finally, I pulled into the long driveway leading to the hospital. The tall, skinny trees casted creepy shadows on the concrete driveway as I pulled in. I quickly parked my car and hopped out in hopes of getting some much needed answers to all the questions I still had. If anything, yesterday left me with more unanswered questions than it did actually answering any I already had. The hospital still seemed just as creepy as the day before. The tree seemed to lean down, almost touching me as I walked up to the front door. Taking in a deep breath before pulling the door wide open as I walked in, almost like deja vu from the day before. The long hallway leading to the front desk somehow seemed even longer than it had yesterday. There seemed to be even more pieces of ceiling covering the floor. I ran my fingers through my long hair as I began pulling it up in a ponytail. I walked up to the front desk, ringing the small silver bell sitting on the desk. I waited for a nurse to come. Standing there, I began looking around for a nurse. However, I could not see anyone around. I called out, but no one answered. I decided to walk up to the 3rd floor, hoping someone would be at the nurse's station to let me into Miss Sutton's room. I began making my way down the 2nd long hallway. Though it seemed darker, like some of the lights had gone out. Everything looked to have been scattered across the floor instead of piled around the walls of the hallway. It felt like I had been walking down the hallway for at least 20 minutes as I finally came to the end. I could see the old elevator as I walked closer. I pressed the up button and waited for the elevator doors to open. Stepping into it, my anxiety began to rise. The elevator began to shake as it went up to the 3rd floor. Holding onto the rail on the side of the walls as I watched the numbers rise to 3. Standing there as I waited for the doors to open to let me out, letting go of the rail, knowing the doors would open soon. The small elevator began filling with fog. It covered my feet as it grew thicker. I couldn't see through it as it began to cover my legs before overtaking the entire elevator. I never heard the ding of the doors opening or closing, but I could feel the elevator going down. The fog was so thick I couldn't even see the glow from the numbers showing what floor it was on. It jerked a few times before it felt like the elevator was falling. Like someone had snapped the cords holding it up. It kept falling and falling as I held for dear life. I knew this had to be it for me. I knew the elevator was going to hit the ground at some point and go up in flames. I could feel it in every bone of my body, with every fiber of my being. Yet, there was nothing I could do about it. Finally feeling the elevator stop, it didn't crash or begin to burn. It just softly came to a stop. The fog disappeared before my eyes. The elevator doors opened to a sight I never thought I'd see, much less ever wanted to see. I could feel the warm air filling the elevator. Taking a step out of the elevator, hell definitely was not what I was expecting. Everyone always thinks of hell as a pit of fire where someone burns for all eternity. At least, that was what they always said in church. 2 demons were standing outside the elevator. My heart raced as I saw them standing there, waiting for me. My heart felt like it was going to jump out of my chest and run away as they stood there watching me. A wicked smile crossed their faces before one spoke to me. Hello, Mrs. Joe. We've been waiting for you. Lucifer would like to have a word. Come. We must not keep him waiting. His voice sounded almost kind as he spoke to me. A long blood-red rug laid on black wood flooring. The walls were dark red wallpaper with hanging candles for light. A long hallway led from the elevator to a spacious room. In the room was 2 tall thrones. Along the edge of the walls were snapdragons that filled from one corner to the other. In between the 2 thrones was a huge arrangement of blood-red roses. The room had an almost romantic feel to it. Dear sweet Joe, it's so nice of you to drop by. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. You certainly know how to keep a man waiting. A soft chuckle left the man's lips. The man was very tall, with a muscular body, his muscles rippling under his shirt. The brightest blue eyes I had ever seen. It was like looking into a clear blue ocean. Wavy blonde hair that he had slicked back with a few small pieces falling down into his eyes. His dark red button-up shirt with black jeans matched the room almost perfectly. He stood up from his throne, rolling his sleeves, smiling at me as he took a step closer, holding his hand out for mine. I laid my hand onto his. How would you like a tour of hell? He asked, as he placed my hand on the inside of his tricep. Nodding my head, far too shocked to be able to form a sentence. He was very handsome, with an almost angelic charm, as he guided me into the next hallway. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's chapters. Next week, I am going to be bringing you something a little different for Tuesday Tales story. And don't forget, remember to keep an eye out on Thursdays and Saturdays for my spooky narrations. I will catch you guys next time. And remember, stay spooky and stay glamorous. Bye.